Hello and welcome along to the Where's My Kit Bag podcast here, made for you by the lovely technician crew, myself, James.
Me, Will.
And me, Steve.
And obviously last week we did not have a podcast. Shock horror. Because Will was away on a school trip.
Oh, it was great fun. It was brilliant.
Well, where were you? What did you do?
I went up to Manchester with some of the CTech students. And it was myself, Jane, and Rachel, and it was fantastic. We got to go around and see the BBC on their premises up there. We got to check out some of their studios where things like The Voice is filmed, Judge Rinder. We got to see the sort of like layouts of those. Absolutely massive studios. Puts our ones to shame a little bit, but
we need an upgrade. Will sort it out. Really
good fun. That was good. We went to the Bradford Science and Media Museum. Highly recommend that. Some really cool exhibitions up there, especially for anybody involved in like cameras and stuff like that. They basically had the history of like the cameras, DSLRs, everything. It was awesome. Really like that.
Nice.
Yeah, we had a really good time. We also met up with a shout out to Video Inc. So that's one of Jane's ex-students' video production companies. They primarily make like music videos. Awesome. Really cool guys. Really nice offices. Very welcoming. We had a good laugh.
Cool. Sounds like you had a good time.
It was great.
Nice.
Sorry about the podcast.
Yeah. In the meantime, the boys wanted me to do this in a way where I did promise jingles.
Yes.
I promised them. So we've got some. Do you want me to sample them all, or just scatter them as they appear?
Let them appear.
Yeah. Let them appear
as the categories roll through.
Alrighty, we'll let them appear as we go through. So we've got some couple ones. Well, one we won't use today because Apple haven't done anything wrong. Little apple bite.
Like
there.
That, nice.
It's quite quiet. Maybe hit.
There we go.
There it is.
A bite-sized
nice
jingle.
Crunchy. Oh, that's good.
That is quick.
That is the podcast title right there.
He's a puddy man today, isn't he?
I'm actually going to write that in. A bite-sized jingle. That's amazing. And I've even spelled bite-size wrong. Fantastic. So, Will, kick us off. Actually, no, not Will. Sorry, Steve. Kick us off with what techno videos have been coming out while Will's been gallivanting in Manchester.
So, Wednesday, I was left all alone while Will was in Manchester.
Again, sorry.
I need a now I need a sad violin now. Oh, for goodness sake.
So I thought, we've got a little document of videos that need to be done. And I thought, what ones could I just get done in a day? And especially near the end of last term, a lot of people were asking about exporting, especially with title cards, etc. So there is an exporting video that went live on Monday, literally as simple as it says in the title, how to drop in a title card, what you need in it, how to export with the right settings that we use as well. Pretty bog standard, does the job. Today, we actually, prior to this podcast, we actually filmed a behind-the-scenes video for DetecDev, which is a nice 20-minute video.
Oh, yeah. It's a big one.
Going up on TechNet, I assume Monday. I assume that's the next one going up.
So.
Really good. It's kind of like as you would say, James, director's cut, did you say?
Yes, director's commentary.
Director's commentary, my mistake. Of how we just set up the lights, why we set up the lights, how you can use it in your own situation, and just basically like a nice little breakdown for anybody who's interested in lighting their scenes. So.
Yeah, I think during DetecDev, you're kind of quite engrossed in the narrative, and even though we put lighting examples in the title, you kind of forget about it, don't you, halfway through, about actually the techniques we're using. So in this, it's literally me and Steve in front of the camera. We play and pause through this sort of like mini cut we made of DetecDev. And yeah, like you say, just talk through it. And it was quite nice to talk through, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was kind of at points we were realising, oh yeah, we did this for that reason. And luckily, we obviously planned, but we just set up the wide angle camera to film everything. Pretty much just left it running through the whole shoot, didn't we? And it worked really, really well. Really
gave us an opportunity to kind of explain why we set up the lights in these specific areas and kind of really emphasize the ability to see live when your actress or actor, depending on the person, is sitting down in the chair and you need to improvise and tweak, because obviously you can plan your lighting setup, but it's always going to change slightly. I think that's something that we talked about quite well, so I look forward to that on Monday.
Nice. Have we got anything else in the pipeline, Steve? Or
at the moment, yes. I believe Will has recorded a kind of an online workshop of what we kind of cover in the Premiere Pro.
Sort of setup.
Which I think is really beneficial as some students spoke to you about it, James, about what would they find beneficial. And I think it's been a long time coming, actually, that type of video of just to break down the basics of getting onto Premiere Pro. And I think there's no better person than Will to cover that. So I think he's tackled that well, but I assume that'll be the next one after
that'll be coming out soon. There's also another one on just sort of like generally booking the studios and the sort of like etiquette to use around it.
Of course, yep.
There's been a few incidences throughout the year where there's been either like rubbish left around or, dare I say it, powder paint used. So it's just, addressing a few of those, but it just explains how to use the TechNet booking system properly, because I know a few people get a bit confused seeing the timetable but not being able to click on it.
Yeah.
And they don't scroll down to see the actual like booking button. So it just explains all that. So
I feel like we're getting a nice little library on there now where students can jump on and go, oh, actually, that is beneficial. So for the students especially that are like, I'm too scared to go and bother the technicians, which we strongly encourage you come and bother us.
Yeah.
But for the ones who are a bit too scared to come and do so, there's quite a nice little catalogue on there now for everything you may need. So go check it out. So.
Eventually, you might become the 4th technician, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's nice. The 4th technician.
Ooh.
Rename TechNet.
I'm joking, the 4th technician. But then if we do get a 4th technician, does that then become the 5th?
Oh, yeah. It's always
next one we come in,
go.
Actually, no, it'll be more senior than whoever comes in afterwards.
More knowledgeable.
Well,
we don't know.
Possibly. Who knows?
We'll have to see.
Otherwise, I've got one on the way, potentially. I need to obviously find some time, time, relative construct, to record it, which is going to be all about getting rid of noise in your footage. So the two of our students, Brett and James, Brett filmed it. He's given me permission to brutalize his footage or save it. Vice versa, however you say. And obviously, you might see James in the shot as well. So thanks to them for letting me steal some clips. So I can actually use real student footage doing it. So I thought that would be quite nice that you actually have this is actual student work, and this is how you can fix it if this happens to you. So that's my idea. Bit of noise reduction. So that might come out in the coming weeks once I get around to making it. Just
for the people who are a bit like, what are you talking about? What do you mean when you say noise reduction?
So when you imagine the scene. Yep. You filmed a shot. You're like, this is the best shot I've ever filmed in my life. You bring it back into Prem and you hear over the background of all your shots. So it basically means that either your microphone gain is too high, so you're picking up like all the background noise around you. If you're filming in the studios, you've basically pointed the microphone at the aircon unit, and you kind of get that very nice hum in the background. Cool. So it's basically trying to get rid of that hum, trying to get rid of that fuzz, which normally curses projects, because students, whenever they try and do like the kind of basic built-in noise reduction, because Premiere Pro's got an all right one depending on the situation, but I'll show you the kind of various methods you can use. Well, that's the end of the video anyway. So you sometimes get this thing where I kind of call it like you sound like your head's in a washing machine. So it just sounds really swirly, and it just sounds like
you get that a lot.
Yeah, it just sounds a bit washy, because you're kind of washing out all the audio. So as you take all the noise away, you're actually taking away the sound of the person.
It's the quality, I guess, you lose
exactly.
Well, yeah.
And when you're kind of listening to if you've done like one clip really well and then it jumps to a clip that's been really badly noise reduced, it's like, ooh, it's very jarring on the ear. So that is coming soon.
Nice. Look forward to that.
Which is, so I'll probably film it in here at some point in the coming weeks. Yeah, that's the plan. Anywho, moving on to some tech news with Mr. William Devereaux. What have you got for us, my friend?
Back to the tech news. Don't you just love it?
I love tech news. Tell me more, Will.
The first thing is actually regarding the podcast, which you mentioned slightly earlier.
I did.
I thought it's a bit of tech. It should come under the tech news bit. So we haven't improved our budget or anything, but we now have access, thanks to Mr. James Bale, to a soundboard. Hit it. Oh, yes.
I know Vizelis Air.
I love it.
I have to fade that down because it's too damn loud in our ears. It's really bad.
We've
got a couple.
Yeah, we've got a little couple ones which we can use throughout. I guess it would just develop,
Yeah, I've already written down sad violin sound.
Brilliant.
I think that's already needed straight away.
And who knows, if you guys can think of any ones that'd be nice to add onto the podcast, let us know. That'll be. Have we got a limit to how many we can have?
Infinite.
Well, there you go.
I mean,
limitless
I've got one cart wall, but I can have as many as I want.
Fantastic. All right, so moving on from that, The first person I wanted to talk about was
Me?
Bill Gates.
Oh,
Yeah, he's been popping up on YouTube quite a bit. A lot of news articles going around. I mean, obviously, there's always news articles going around with him. But the main reason why is because he's just released, or his foundation has just released the letter which they do every year, just sort of addressing how they see the world at the moment and the sort of things they're doing to help make things better. Basically, there's no other way to describe him than a philanthropist. He is trying to make the world a better place.
he's like a better Tony Stark.
Yeah,
realistically, doesn't need an Iron Man suit.
Doesn't
makes
need
windows.
it. It just does. Yeah. And there's just some interesting facts I wanted to bring to light, and I think there's other companies that could be following this that just they choose not to. That's almost negligent. I think they're not doing their bit because they can. I think one really impressive stat for me was since they've set up the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they've raised $28 billion, or he's donated, $28 billion.
Wow.
Which is, I mean, that's a game-changing amount, isn't it? Of his own money. There's some ridiculous stat. I think he makes $121 a second. So I'm glad he's putting it somewhere. But obviously, also there's a thing known as like the pledge, where he's giving each of his 3 children $10 million out of it when he passes away, and then the rest of it's going to the foundation, which is somewhat of like $95 billion. Going straight into that, which I mean, that's a lot of money.
I mean, he could afford to give his kids $1 billion each, and it probably wouldn't make much of a dent, would it? Really?
Yeah, and most of his efforts, he was saying in the letter, concentrated in Africa at the moment. So they spend a lot of time traveling, but they basically do it as a full-time job. So he doesn't really work on much stuff other than that now, other than just kind of improving people's lives, which I thought was pretty amazing.
I remember the last thing I heard him doing was something to do with like generating like clean water in Africa, but in this like really small compact unit which you kind of put near a well, and then it just filters everything out like stupidly fast.
Wow.
Or something along those. Someone will correct me, I'm sure. But no, that's the last thing I saw. Whereas before you had to have like this massive machine, had to be like powered by like generators, so more fuel would be needed. But his one is kind of almost powered by itself, but also a bit of solar power, which obviously is incredibly efficient, I thought.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean,
it's
like a feel-good story.
I
think he's obviously doing a lot. He's not necessarily bragging about it, but I'm just glad people are bringing it to light now.
Absolutely.
Well, they have been, but it's just, it's when they release the letter, it just gets a bit more press. So it's a nice little thing to talk about there. Moving on from that, it was more into like the sort of gaming sector for a little bit now. There was, but it also just relates to companies in general. So Blizzard Activision, they're a massive corporation. They're behind the most recent Call of Duty. They make the World of Warcraft game, which I'm sure a lot of people are fond of or aware of. They recently announced in their budget report that they'd made a $500 million profit from on last year. Ooh. So that's pretty healthy, not too bad.
Should give that to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, to be honest.
However, the day after this report, they sack 800 employees. Now most of it was from their sort of like esports division, so it could be people that they like no longer need, or it's just it's not part of the business. But I mean that's a lot of people to just kind of suddenly lose a job, and especially during sort of like something as fragile as the gaming industry. It was just quite an interesting concept to me. Fortunately, I've never been in that position where you've been laid off by the people you're working for, and especially in a job like that, I'm sure people have fought passionately to get in. It's quite a competitive market, I can imagine, of people trying to get in there, and then to get into that position and then just be told you're not really needed anymore. I mean, I just, what do you guys think about? It's tough, isn't it? Where do you go? What would you do in that position? How do you pick yourself back up? I mean,
luckily, I've also never been in that position, being laid off. Phew. Hopefully, never will be. Fingers crossed, touch wood. Obviously you can't. I fingers crossed and waited like you could see it. That's daft. But yeah, no, it's a situation I've never been in. It's a situation that I'm sure, like, if you were in it, you'd be like, oh my days, what do I do with my life? And then you kind of have like that small little like existential crisis almost. I don't. It's
hard to pick yourself back up
it's
from that,
hard.
wouldn't
It's
it?
hard to think what you would do without being in that scenario, or like ever being in a scenario similar to it.
It's almost got to like hit a reset button a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other companies that you can work for, but you know,
Case of redo your CV
just
and
Blizzard Activision's is huge, isn't it? It's absolutely massive. There's a little tweet that I saw. Somebody who'd been one of these people affected. Today was my last day at Blizzard Entertainment. I knew that layoffs were commonplace in the video game industry, but I somehow always thought that if I worked really hard and get the right education and be an exceptional employee, that never happened to me. I was wrong. I thought, and there's a lot of tweets like this, but you know, that's all they can do to express it. But in the end of the day, if you're not needed somewhere, then and you let you go, you've just got to start. You got to pick yourself up and just start either a new industry or just find a way around it. But it was just interesting from my perspective, especially how it was around esports, because from what I was aware of, esports was only growing. And
maybe
you're starting
Overwatch
to see
is dying off. Maybe.
You're starting to see sort of like scholarships in schools now for esports, and we've got our own esports team here at the college or two. It's just becoming a bit more commonplace. I was quite surprised by that.
I mean, I don't know much about the story myself, but I can only assume maybe there's third-party representatives that are running these esports kind of events, let's say. And all they need to do is contact the higher people up in, say, Blizzard and Activision and say, yeah, we want to use the rights to your games. So is it necessary to have esports representatives within companies that make the games? I don't know if that's one avenue to potentially look at. That's what I was quietly thinking as you guys were chatting away was, well, why would somebody need what is near enough half of this college in regards to like students wise? Imagine half of them disappearing. That's how many employees are being laid off. That 800 people, I mean, do you need 800 people to sort esports events, especially with, as I said, the amount of facilities and third party places that are going to be like, we want to put on a Call of Duty tournament or an Overwatch tournament. Do you need 800 people to sort that?
It was quite interesting. There was bits and bobs in the story, but a lot of it was people who worked for like financial things. So look at financial reports about like how the esports is doing, like how much money's generated, all that sort of stuff. So there's different areas, but you're right. There's that question as well. Moving on from that, also sort of the pressure mounting on them are from these free-to-play games, which I think everybody is at least aware of. Some sort of like free-to-play game, whether it might be a little free game on your phone, something like Candy Crush, for example, which is also part of that Activision sort of Blizzard content. They're made by King. They're also part of the same group.
Do they have an esport? Candy Crush
esport. I'd quite like to see that
competitive Candy Crush.
But I mean, that makes absolute millions per
absolutely.
a day on microtransactions, and obviously you've got things like Fortnite, and people are seeing this sort of like new type of game, obviously the free to play, and they're making a lot of money, more so than just your regular game would. So a lot of people are moving over to this way of, well, rather than just releasing a game every year, let's just make one and continue to update it. And the best format for that at the moment seems to be this battle royale genre, which is quite interesting because even that, we've been through a cycle of hundreds of battle royales in and out, and the big one to talk about at the moment, which if we plug in the hype train, is
whoa. Yeah, what did you say, Will?
Plug in the hype train. Is Apex Legends, which has come out just a few days ago. It's made by Respawn, but published by EA, and it has exploded to about 25 million players in a week, which is pretty insane. It's faster growth than Fortnite saw.
It's fantastic.
Sort of opening. So, Steve has been playing it a decent amount. I've played a few games on it.
I've not played it at all.
See, so I'll tell you my little kind of story behind it.
Pitch me the game. I don't play this game. Pitch it to me.
Pitch it to you. Okay.
Why should I play Apex Legends, Steve?
So, good question. I'd say, again, no disrespect, 'cause I'm going for my own kind of persona of a casual gamer. I'm probably the most casual, but I just want to pick up a controller. I don't want to spend, 30, 40 hours a week trying to be the best, and so I want to go on and play it. It has a lot of, for a battle royale game, it has a lot of casual player friendly things, which is very Marmite, I think, but for the general consumer it's good. Examples being in battle royale games, gear and how good your weapon is very important. In, say, I don't play Fortnite, it's not my thing, but like, let's say PUBG, for example, if you picked up a level 3 helmet, if you hover over a level 1 helmet, you can pick it up. In Apex Legends, it says to you, it even doesn't even let you pick it up unless you like hold a specific button. So it's constantly saying to you, this is the best stuff, we're going to keep this on you, keep looking around. It's like a silly thing, there's no full damage.
See, that I quite like that, no full damage.
Yeah.
It feels more like cartoony almost.
It puts more spotlight on gameplay, because the amount of times I lost in a battle royale game from silly things, they don't happen in Apex Legends. The only time I've really suffered is at the feet of another player, because I'm not the best at it, but it's made me want to play more and more. I play with my brother on PS4. I'm a PC gamer by trade, so to speak, but I'm playing this on PS4. Admittedly, this skill level is significantly lower. So in 2 days of playing, bear in mind I played 4 hours on Sunday, and I played a couple of hours last night, and I've managed to bag 7 wins so far.
Oh, out of how many games though?
I'd probably say about 30 or 40. I'll be honest.
That's not bad.
That's
That's not
for a
bad.
battle royale. That's quite a high.
But were you like
percentage.
doing it as like duo with you and your brother, or was it just you on your Todd?
I won one with myself, just playing with randoms. I've only played maybe 5 or 6 games with randoms, but either with my brother or my brother and a third player who I work at my other job with, who's very, very good at games. So yeah, it's good. I mean, from the whole free to play thing, I wouldn't have bought it, because I was kind of bled dry by PUBG, and Fortnite didn't appeal to me, and I played a bit of Call of Duty Blackout. I liked it, but I was kind of done with battle royale games. I really don't know what it is. It just feels like a breath of fresh air for some bizarre reason. This game, I don't know why. Because as I said, I was kind of done with battle royales. Like, I'm not on that proper hype train, but it's an enjoyable game. Like, I can't lie. It's actually really good fun.
What a lot of the games nowadays, especially the free-to-play ones, suffer with is on release they get such a bad stigma around bugs, issues, and for some reason, obviously they've done their research and stuff, but when they released this game, it came out of nowhere. You play it, you don't lag, you don't really error out at all. Everything seems to be balanced. There's no really issues that you keep running into and getting frustrated, like Steve was saying. That those little things play in your mind a lot when you're in a game, and they take you away from the skill level. It's polished, isn't it? In the end of the day,
there's a fantastic communication system when people don't have mics. Like, fortunately, the game that I did win, there's a thing called a ping system, which is on the PS4 you use an R1 button, as Will said. On the PC you use the middle mouse button, and you can communicate loot where it is. It kind of knows that whatever you're pointing at, if you then press the ping button, your character will communicate to your team, there's this item is here, there's an enemy there, I'm going this direction. And it's such a good system that it means that you can play all day without communicating with a random or a stranger or anything like that. You don't have to have a mic in.
Just with one button, isn't it?
It's really fluid.
Really, really genius.
And I found me and these 2 other people who I did not know who they were, but playing with them, and we communicated so well, and it was really satisfying, and it was a really interesting system. So yeah, because you can say you can even request stuff. You can go onto your inventory, hover over a slot, and press the ping button, and it will say, "I'm looking for this, a level 3 helmet," and then your teammate might go, "Level 3 helmet here," and you just look on the map, and there it is, and they found it for you. It's
really cool.
Really cool system. And as what you're about to go on with free to play, I'll let you continue.
Yeah, well, it's just interesting how going free to play is making them more money, but what these developers are doing, what Respawn's doing really well, is the game's release and they release a roadmap. So they say, okay, we know it's a developing game. Here's what we forecast for the next year will look like. Yeah, and it gives expectation to people getting involved. But you can play it for free and have exactly the same experience as
someone who's thrown money into it.
Exactly. They could have put thousands of pounds on, but it is, as far as we can see at the moment, just cosmetic. There are a few characters that you have to unlock extra. However, they don't seem any better than any of the other
play
characters.
Style, isn't it? Rather than
it's doing well. It's being pretty well reviewed. Sort of 8s and 9s. I've seen it at the moment, which is pretty impressive. We'll see how that gets on in the future. Definitely one to look up. It's free on Xbox, PS4, PC. Probably worth picking up, playing.
It's on everything.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it's the first free-to-play game I've actually put money on. I put £15 on it because I've played 15 hours. Because I'm very much a pound an hour.
I love your pound an hour system.
And if I'm playing for free, I've played 15 hours. I can justify seeing what the consumables are. And you get one of these. They're called Apex packs every level.
Yeah,
and they're great. And another great thing, just to quickly note on it, is to stop people, putting £300-400 on it. You're not going to get duplicate items. Yeah. Which is a fantastic user-friendly thing, and you're guaranteed these things called legendaries, which are the highest tier of item every 30 crates that you open. Yeah. Yes, that sounds like quite a lot, but every level you go up, you get one anyway.
Sounds a bit like Hearthstone.
So it's
where
very
they have their kind of legendary.
It's very like, cool. If you're going to give us money, we will actually reward you, but we're not going to do you dirty and say, oh, we'll give you the same skin, say 5 times over. You won't get that, and I think that's they don't have to do that. I don't think people would have still bought them.
That's nice.
That, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and then one more bit in sort of the gaming era whilst we're here. Don't know if any of you saw, but Rocket League has now officially announced the new friends list. Don't know if any of you saw that.
Not seen that.
I think I saw this announced. Obviously, playing Rocket League far too much in Steve's kind of the pound an hour. They owe me a lot of money.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So basically, now on the right hand side, you have a friends list, and you have a unique code, so it's your name, and then like a hashtag, and then 4 numbers, just like a bit like a battle.net tag.
Yeah.
And then you can add that code to any other player on Switch, PS4, Xbox, PC, and you can party up with them now.
They've finally done full crossplay because Sony finally gave in.
Exactly. So I think it's probably the first game to cross-platform across all of it.
I did not know. That's fantastic news.
How cool is that? Because you could before cross-play between the consoles, but you could never know because they would just appeared as just random console player. So you never knew who you were playing with. I think you could party up with them if it was like a private game.
Yeah,
but only on specific consoles.
It's all open now. It's all
now.
Up.
That's really good.
It's quite cool. The last thing, just really quickly, Panasonic have now officially announced all the specs for their full-frame mirrorless camera. They're going with the SR1, which is the high megapixel one, and the S1. They're big cameras. They're expensive. Can they do much more than any other mirrorless out there at the moment? Not really. The S1, I believe, that can shoot 4K 60, which is pretty impressive for a full-frame mirrorless. And it can shoot some pretty big file sizes when shooting to an external recorder as well.
Is this worth a hype train?
I don't think so. I don't think it's worth
a little train.
Yeah.
That's all it's getting.
The price point's all wrong at the moment.
Absolutely.
I think they've priced it way above any competition, which kind of just knocks them out already.
What's its starting price?
I mean, you're looking at 3,500 for the SR1, and the S1 is 2,500. I think it is.
Damn!
So.
But aren't people
comparing it on Z6?
Aren't people comparing it to your Sony A7 III?
Yeah, which you can pick up for about 1,800.
Yeah, people are comparing it to that camera. Like with 2,000 extra pounds, you could buy glass, like stabilizers, so much
all
stuff.
sorts, gimbals, everything.
For the sake of 30 frames at 4K.
I'm glad there's competition because it means it's better for the consumer.
Yeah, very true.
Absolutely.
I'm happy with that. In terms, should you pick it up? No.
A resounding no.
The
from
only
William.
cool thing is when people launch these new systems, like the new Canon system or the new Nikon system, they're using adapters and all that sort of stuff. So. And there's not much new glass for these mirrorless cameras. However, Panasonic has teamed up with Sigma and Leica to I believe it's called the L mount, and it's basically they're saying you get access to hundreds and hundreds of lenses at launch. It's all native sort of thing. So that's quite a cool partnership they've got going on. So that's the only sort of thing I say it's going well for it is. But I mean, if you look at the cost of a Leica lens, just Google it. You're kind of jaw dropped.
They are expensive.
So it's nice it has access to those lenses. Yes, they're expensive, but it's better than Canon and Nikon because at the moment they've only got like 4 or 5 native ones. So
would you say this would be these cameras are targeted at people who have a collection of these lenses, know the Panasonic body, and are just looking for the Panasonic mirrorless, who are diehard
pretty much.
Fans?
I think it's quite a small market.
Yeah.
Something that's great about the Panasonic ones is their in-body stabilization. It does look like it's on a gimbal just from handheld. It's pretty insane. But aside from that, Have a little look at it. They're massive. They've got big batteries. So if you're looking to do long shoots, that's quite impressive. But aside from that, it's probably a pass.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a no from Will.
Yeah.
Oh, I need a no sound effect now. That's the next thing on my hit list. So, thank you for the tech news, Mr. Will Devereaux. So, obviously, it was the BAFTAs this week. Did any of us watch it live?
Not live.
No, nor did I. So, either way, I've got a list of all the results, all the winners, all the losers. So we can obviously have a little talk about to see who actually did well and who didn't do so well. So I'm literally just going to work down the list really quickly. Best leading actor went to Rami Malek, obviously for his performance in Bohemian Rhapsody. Agree or disagree?
I agree, I think.
Yeah, I also agree. I've not seen the film myself, but I've heard he's unbelievable, which is good.
I saw the film in cinema. Absolutely loved it. I thought, his performance was so uncanny.
He's dying over there. Well, we'll take over. We'll have some water.
Yeah, his performance was so uncanny, and I think his mannerisms, just the way he carried himself, was so impressive. So for me, I think some people are saying obviously Christian Bale in Vice.
Yes, he was nominated.
Haven't seen that yet. But they said the same sort of thing. He matches the mannerisms of Dick Cheney quite well. So yeah, I think it's well deserved personally, but there's been a bit of stipulation.
Fair. So that was for best leading actor was Rami Malek from Bohemian Rhapsody. Leading actress went to Olivia Colman for The Favourite. Again, that's been kind of the not sort of underdog, but the kind of dark horse / now actual leading person that they think is going to win it at the Oscars potentially. Obviously beating out Lady Gaga for A Star Is Born, and obviously beating out Melissa McCarthy, which I think was a bit of an odd choice, but you never know. Viola Davis and Glenn Close is who she beat out, obviously for The Favourite. And I know, Will, you've seen The Favourite, haven't you?
Yes,
and
that was awesome.
You found it.
Loved it.
You loved it. Steve, have you seen it?
No, it's terrible.
Me and Steve are useless here.
Really bad year for it.
Best director went to the director for Roma, Alfonso Cuarón. Don't know how I'm meant to pronounce that. Terribly sorry if I have done it wrong. But obviously also nominated first timer for Bradley Cooper. Obviously got didn't win, nor did any of the others. But again, Will, you've seen Roma, haven't you?
No.
Oh, you've not seen? None of us have seen. Have any of us seen Roma?
No, I've not seen it.
None of us have seen Roma. Oh, interesting. Others, best film, oddly enough, went to Roma. Beat out Black Klansman, Favourite, Green Book, and A Star Is Born. Costume design again went to The Favourite. Quite probably predictable there. Film not in the English language is how they pronounce it, or best foreign film was Roma. Fairly obvious choice there.
Cold War looks quite good, actually. I quite want to see that.
I've not seen Cold War or heard. I think I've heard a little bit about it, but don't know very much.
Definitely have a little look into that at some point.
Visual effects went to Black Panther, oddly enough beating out Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah, I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit bizarre. I thought there was far more CG in Infinity War than Black Panther. But I don't know what you two think about that. But then I see on the list Ready Player One.
First Man.
Yeah, I loved First Man. I seem to be the only one that kind of liked it. Everyone else seemed to hate it.
Space films normally do really well, don't they?
Yeah. Also, First Man, about, Neil Armstrong landing on the moon, big American achievement. I thought that would be like absolute prime Oscar winner. For things. I was quite surprised it wasn't up for best film, to be honest, but hey, I'm not on the Oscar board, probably for good reason. But yeah, I did like the inclusion of Ready Player One after obviously we challenged Steve to watch it. I rewatched it on Snow Day and I had a great day rewatching that. I was like, oh, this is good. Outstanding debut by a British writer, director, or producer went to Beast. Best cinematography, Roma. Best supporting actor went to Mahershala Ali for Green Book. Original screenplay, The Favourite.
I think it's Mahershala Ali, but yeah.
Mahershala, thank you. You can do pronunciations.
He's awesome. I'm a big fan of it.
I first came across him in a series called The 4400 back in like 2005 or 2006 when I used to when it was on Sky. He was one of the lead characters. Actually, I think he was a supporting actor in that, and then he's just slowly grown through the ranks.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's in everything now.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Original music went Star is Born. Fairly obvious choice there with Lady Gaga there. Adapted screenplay was Black Klansman. Rising Star went to Letitia Wright, obviously, who was in Black Panther.
Yeah, she was brilliant. I thought
she was really
amazing.
good.
Yeah.
Very good. I'll be honest, I don't know many other people who are up for the award, actually. I know that sounds really bad. Otherwise, Best Supporting Actress was Rachel Weisz for The Favourite. Makeup and Hair was The Favourite, oddly enough. Best Documentary was Free Solo. Editing was Vice. Obviously, only just come out over here, like in the last couple of weeks, I think.
You're going to see that this week or next.
Sound, Bohemian Rhapsody. Fairly obvious pick there. I think.
love how A Quiet Place is on Best Sound.
Yeah,
but no, it is though.
It's so
so
true,
well
but
done.
It's funny, isn't it?
It's an
complete
irony
lack
you
of
can't
it.
argue with.
Yeah,
I laugh at it, but I'm like, hang on, yeah, you're right. It's really interesting.
British short film went to 73 Crows. Short animation went to Rough House. Production design, The Favourite. Outstanding British film, The Favourite. And best animated film, I'm surprised it won, beating out Isle of Dogs, was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse,
Woohoo!
which I haven't seen and it annoys me greatly.
I loved it. It was awesome.
What would you give out of 10, Will? Because
you
you never give 10s. You're like IMDb. You can never give a 10.
I couldn't give it a 10. But
It's
it
not
was
perfection.
entertaining throughout. It was amazing. Spider-Pig was brilliant.
Were there any surprises in there that you think, or things that should have won, or are we all kind of like, yeah, we're all right with it?
Yeah, obviously The Favourite cleaned up there.
Is it your favourite, Will?
Wasn't my favourite. I enjoyed the film. I think Roma should be more in the headlines. The Favourite was the one that was in the papers and everything.
Yeah.
But I think Roma should definitely, just for what it is, obviously coming out of Netflix. I think it should have been made a bit more aware of. But no, I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, it was quite interesting results. But gives us a little nod towards the Oscars, isn't it? So
absolutely. So yeah, I think it was something like whatever won best film at the BAFTAs, like in 8 out of 10 times goes on to win the Oscar or something like that. So,
that was high, yeah.
Or in like the last 12 years, it's been that way or something or other. So yeah, well, we will see. Anyways, coming up next, this has its own jingle now.
Woo-hoo.
It's time for Film of the Week.
That was great.
Oh, I love that.
It's just so good. So with Film of the Week, what we do is we challenge each other to basically watch a film within a week for something that we haven't seen, and then give a review of it the following week. So last time, me and Steve challenged Mr. Will Devereux over there to watch The Hurt Locker.
Oh yes.
Will Devereux, did you manage to watch The Hurt Locker?
I have seen The Hurt Locker.
Yeah, you know what we need? We need a hallelujah sound.
Well, it's
I'll
still
add
on
that
Netflix,
on the list.
luckily enough.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, excellent.
I just watched it on there.
So Will Devereux, what was your summary of The Hurt Locker?
Awesome. Really, really liked it. How I had not seen that up until that point, I have absolutely no idea, because that's pretty much what I was looking for in sort of like that modern era sort of war film. Really, really liked it. Really strong characters. Obviously, Jeremy Renner played a fantastic performance, I think. It's kind of like, there's no spoilers. No.
Wait. Did you say spoilers?
I think it's one of those films we can kind of talk about freely now.
But
It's been
he
that
acts
long.
It's been out since 08.
He acts like this cocky kind of like bomb expert at some points, but then other points you see a completely different side to him. And obviously towards the end of the film, you realise that he's got a family just like most of the other people out there, but yet all the things he was doing almost seemed as reckless enough to think that he didn't. Most of the film, I thought there's no way he doesn't seem attached to anything. He'd like to care enough. There's parts where he'd be walking up to a bomb, he'd like take off his jacket as if to say, well, it doesn't really matter, And it was really, really interesting. I thought action sequences were brilliant. There's loads and loads of tension. There was this beautiful shot where he's like following the thread of this one bomb, stands in the middle, and just pulls the string up, and about 8 more appear around him.
Is it in like a crane shot pointing down?
That's the one. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Really, really like that. It's kind of this moment of like, he's screwed. But I absolutely loved it. There's lots of scenes I enjoyed. I think the heart of it was kind of a bit lacking for me. I feel like the story.
Okay.
The storyline wasn't as punchy as I was expecting it to be, but I don't know. I think that's because I already know it like achieved a critical claim. I think I was being a bit harsher on it, but I'd give that an 8. I really enjoyed it.
Solid 8.
Yeah, that's what.
Solid.
That was
Good review.
Really enjoyed it. Like you said, definitely up there with some like those sort of films that I enjoy. And I thought, happy for the recommendation.
Well,
nice one.
I'm glad we've given you a good film.
Yeah.
Because I think, honestly, the last time I saw it is when it came out, like in 2008. It's been that long.
Yeah. I'm
just thinking, like, I should probably give this a rewatch, to be honest.
I caught it a good year or so ago, so a lot of it's still quite fresh in my mind. I'd push it up to a 9 personally myself, but that's because I got so emotionally invested in that film. I loved it. Really enjoyed it.
Nice.
I watched it on my laptop screen.
Fair.
So it was. I think
not as immersive.
Yeah,
as a
maybe I
cinema.
should have watched it on like a bigger TV or something like that. I think that would have helped a lot. I think I took away from the tension a little bit for me at some point.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I loved it. It was awesome.
Nice. Well, a solid review there from Will. So who is being challenged next to receive a film to watch?
Well, I think we're going with you, Mr. James.
I think it is me.
I think I fall into this as well with the film we
yeah,
discussed.
Why not? Yeah,
I think it's turned up to a double.
Yeah,
because neither of us have seen it.
It's a really cool film. So the one I'm setting, well, I guess for both of you now, will be Moon. We're going for Moon. Yes.
Tell me about Moon, Will. What is the Moon?
So
well, we know what the
I don't
want to
say too much because
wait. You don't want to say too much, Will.
Spoiler alert, come minute, yeah. Basically, it's a man on the moon. He's been tasked to kind of like provide power. So he's like running this mining operation. He's got a 3-year contract to be up there, and he's getting ever so closer to coming back home eventually. But the post just seems to keep being out of reach. Things start to happen. An event develops, and it goes from there. Possibly one of my favorite soundtracks to a film. It's absolutely incredible, and you'll feel it as you watch the film. Really, really enjoyable. Highly recommend watching. Oh, that's why I'm recommending you watch it.
I had an incredible sense of deja vu watching the trailer.
Yeah, you
earlier,
said that. Yeah,
but I could not tell you what on earth happens. But the opening, say 30 seconds of trailer, I was like, I've seen this. I've definitely seen this film. And then when I then questioned myself, I was like, I don't know what happens. So it was very bizarre.
What's happening?
Very, very bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's some like 2001 Space Odyssey vibes from it. A lot of the shots and scenery, you get a feel from other things, and it wasn't necessarily like the highest budget film. So don't expect like big special effects and anything like that.
I want best special effects winner at the Oscars. Will, that's what I want.
But yeah, what it lacks for in that, I think soundtrack it makes up more than for.
Reminds me of the video that the song of the week from a few weeks ago.
Oh yes,
interesting.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Maybe that.
Maybe that's what triggered your memory. You're just like, I've seen this. Oh wait, but with a woman, not Sam
Diving
Rockwell.
into the psychology of Steve. Yeah, that's strange.
That's your film.
Sweet. So we've in fact got 2 weeks to watch it, because we've also got obviously there won't be a podcast next week because we've obviously got reading week in the way. But we'll do another double bill the other side coming out of it in case any sort of tech news and things have happened in the week we've been away. Glorious. So moving on from that, it is the final thing, which I've actually picked 2 songs, one for last week, one for this week. So I'm calling it now Tunes of the Fortnight, because fortnight, two weeks, etc. Tunes 2. So last week I would have gone with a song that I've been listening to for quite a while, by a band called Jingle. Great name for a band. Okay. And the song is called Heavy California. It's a very kind of chill, laid back. It's the kind of thing you'd want a convertible car driving down an empty road at dusk with the sun setting. You just have this blaring out the speakers.
It's almost like you could just dance in a field to that song.
You could. It's like that's in the music video,
really?
Steve.
Wow.
The music video is great.
Yeah, the music video is
awesome.
quality.
Yeah.
There is a really big dance troupe. These are a really good like whole routine thing, and the kind of lead dance guy's just got so much swagger.
Yeah, he is
so
awesome.
much swagger. It's really good. So that link will be in the description on SoundCloud and YouTube. So go and check it out. It's Jingle, Heavy California. This week I picked something totally different. I've gone for a bit of liquid drum and bass-ish kind of thing. So something to kind of, I don't know, maybe hype you up. But also probably quite good for, driving down the road, convertible car, windows down, blaring out the speakers. It's by an artist called Wilkinson, featuring the vocal talents of someone called Hayla, and it's called I Need, but not the original version. Make sure you listen to the Wilkinson A Metric remix, which is, I think, significantly better.
Yeah, it's good. I've seen Wilkinson live.
Have you?
Yeah,
oh, no way. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw him a few years ago. This was nice. I like this one.
It's very
I
good.
did check out the original because I wasn't aware of this song, and I will second your point of the remix is better. Very good song. Yeah,
absolutely. So something to keep you nice and chill, something to amp you up.
Yeah,
is what I've kind of gone for this week. So 2 tracks: Jingle, Heavy California, Wilkinson feats Hayla, I Need, the Wilkinson A Metric remix. Those links will be in the description of the YouTube vid and on SoundCloud. So go and check them out. It's one I highly recommend. Otherwise, that is pretty much it for our little double episode 7 and 8 of the Where's My Kit Bag podcast. How exciting. Thank you very much for listening all this way through. I've been James.
I'm Will.
And I'm Steve.
And you've been listening to Where's My Kit Bag.
Thanks for listening to the Where's My Kit Bag podcast. Please feel free to drop us a comment about anything you want us to cover in the section below. Or drop us an email on technet@farnborough.ac.uk.